These are the Racelouvers 24x14 center vent. Just installed them. I know one big concern from cutting out all of the hood structure in the center here was the hood being floppy. Not really a problem. So that's good, at least initially. You can see this ends up right over the behind area where the air box is, or the air intake area. The front holes of these vents are roughly 3 inches behind where the radiator is. So according to Racelouvers, that's about where you want them. So we're going to find out at VIR hopefully later in the month. Here's some photos of the process of installing the Racelouvers 24x14 RT trim hood vent on my 2019 GTI. Basically, a whole lot of careful measurements were made to ensure that I had center line, measuring a set distance from each corner in a couple spots, then connecting those two lines from both top left and top right corner. That gives you an X toward the top, and then you get an X toward the bottom. Connect the lines, you got center line. Kind of laying the vent up top, using a bunch of tape along the way to ensure we've got it on center line. I'm also, you can see the sideways tape there marked for where the radiator is. The idea is to get the hood vents placed about 2 to 4 inches behind the radiator. Lots and lots of tape was used in this. Once a center line and your rough, distance behind the radiator's set, you can lay down the template and start marking everything. I traced the template onto the hood on the tape that was laid down. Then the point of no return is when you drill the holes in the 4 corners of each portion. You can kind of see where they correspond to here. Then you take the hood off of the car and go to town with a cutting wheel. Very nervous, try and go slowly so as not to burn the paint too badly. Cut out as much as you can from the top and then cut it from the bottom side to complete it and get everything out of the way. All of the structure is going to have a little bit more trimmed out, but once you get the rough idea of where they're at, you should be set. You want to test fit the louvers. When you drop them down, I actually ran into an issue where they were contacting the little flappy bits on the edges, so I had to trim a little bit more on the 2 sides. Then once I got to a point where I was able to drop it all the way in, then you got to remove a little bit of extra structure so that you have clean airflow to get into and out of the vents. It's just kind of laying there for visual representation. And you drop it on there and you mark all the holes for the rivets, start drilling all of those out. Get to the point where then you can rivet the thing in. Everything was going pretty well at this point. I had to enlarge a couple of the holes just a tiny bit. Then you can pull the tape off. Came time to smooth down all the edges and drop it on for the final time, rivet it in, installed everything. You kind of see it when it was done there. Before installing the vent, I did put some touch-up paint on the edges to prevent some rust from happening. And realistically, I probably could have trimmed more. As you can see a little bit of it, but I really don't care. I'm not a body man, and this hood is not being built like this for resale value. This is for track use. So yeah, here's a few of the final installed pictures. Very pleased with how it came out and looking forward to testing.